and a very warm welcome to our third Junk Journal podcast. I am super excited. Thank you so much for tuning in. I am so happy to have two very special guests here today. So we have Joey, who's been with me the first two episodes, and then brand new this time, we have Gayle Agostinelli. I am super excited. If you have missed the first two episodes, please go check that link down below in the description box so you can catch up. But even as a standalone, I think you'll get what we're talking about. It's all about junk journaling and your questions. And specifically this time, we have picked some super fun questions from Gayle's viewers. So Gayle has asked her viewers in one of her videos to ask questions that you're interested in. So we picked a few. We're going to discuss those today. So just in case you don't know who we are, actually, if you're here the first time, so I'm Barbara, otherwise known as 49 Dragonflies, and I have a YouTube channel since April 2018. I do everything and anything related to junk journaling. I make junk journals. I do altered books. I make ephemera, embellishments, and everything in between. I do journals with me and so on. So yeah, that's basically what I do. Joey, what do you do?
Hi, thanks very much. And I'm really excited to be here. I guess I make and fill junk and slightly arty journals. And I love filming and conveying that passion through the medium of film. So I really like the editing of the videos so that I can make things really simple so that everyone else can do it too. And I like using really basic supplies. That's probably me in a nutshell.
Awesome. Thank you. Gayle, how about you introduce yourself?
Well, hello, everyone. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for inviting me, Joey. That was so kind of you. Happy to be here. My YouTube channel is Gayle Agostinelli, and I have been on YouTube since June of 2016. And everything junk journal with a little mixed media sprinkled in here and there. Yeah, and I'm just thrilled to be here. Thank you, Joey and Barbara. I just appreciate being here with you two.
Great. Thank you so much, Gayle and Joey. Just for our viewers, one fun fact is we are actually here from 3 different time zones. So Joey is in the UK, Gayle is in Montana in the US. So Gayle is on Mountain Time, and I'm in Vienna. So that's 3 different time zones. Plus, Joey and I have just had 1 hour time change a day ago. So it is a complete miracle that all 3 of us managed to be here at the same time. Okay, I would say let's start with the questions we have here. I have here a list, and I think, Gayle, you have one to start off with.
I do. Before I ask the question, I do really want to thank my viewers because there were some great questions and there were a lot of questions. So it was fun for the 3 of us to kind of go through them and decide which ones we really wanted to answer. So my first question is, what other crafts did you do before junk journals? So Joey, why don't you start off? I'll bring up the rear on this one.
The main one really is probably making cards. I don't know whether that shows in any of my videos, but when I do collaging, for example, I think quite a lot about pattern and colour and positioning and composition. And I'm absolutely fascinated with how to combine like book pages with something else and a label and an image and creating something. So the thing that I've done before, pretty much the only thing really I'd say is making cards, but it's always been something to do with playing with paper. I'm not so much, I've done a bit of knitting, I've done hardly any sewing. I didn't even have a sewing machine before like a year or 2 ago. So it's pretty much been just paper and simple stuff. It was things like having a job getting in the way, you know, that the family life that stops you doing those things you want to do. So that's pretty much it. How about you, Barbara?
I've always done art on the side. It was the only subject in school I was ever any good at. So for me, it was always a necessity to stay alive, basically, to have the motivation to keep going, to do something creative. So whether that was drawing or painting, or my mom taught me knitting and embroidery and crocheting and all of that. I don't do a lot of that anymore, but I love that I have the skill. So if I want to, I know I can get into it very quickly. And then what I did probably for the longest time is photography. So I did that for 10 years. And I started off with art photography, macros, specifically flowers, and then strangely like household appliances and something, things like that, which sounds really weird. But yeah, and I even had exhibitions and all that was lovely. And then I made the huge mistake of getting into commercial photography. So doing events and weddings. And that took all the fun out of it for me. And I stopped completely doing any kind of photography. And to this day, I don't enjoy taking photos. I will take a snapshot with my phone and that's about it. And
but you know a lot. You know a lot that's very relevant.
That is true. That is true. It has helped me definitely in collaging. That was definitely an asset. So I'm happy I was able to take some of that knowledge into junk journaling. And yeah, I've done a little bit of card making as well. And then I started with art journaling and then finally transitioned into junk journaling, where I am now and hope to stay for a long, long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, how about you?
Gosh, I don't remember a time when I wasn't doing something creative. I've sewn my whole life. In the 70s, I had my period of decoupage, which has come in handy, but I kind of cringed because back then I burnt the edges of whatever piece of paper with fire. So really, vintage photo distress ink has saved my life.
Literally.
So yeah, I just cringe when I think about that and flicking off the paper into the sink. Oh my gosh.
Wow.
But it did distress the edges.
I'll bet.
Yeah. And then, I tried my hand at quilting. Too fussy for me. I need a quicker project. I can't, spend a year on the same thing. I need a little change more often than that.
Faster payback. We want more rapid payback.
Yes, exactly. A little feeling of satisfaction, a little bit sooner. So crochet, gosh, I'm like Barbara, and art class was my favorite. I was better at that than math. That's for sure. So yeah. And then, gosh, I would guess about 10 or 12 years ago, I kind of got into mixed media and art journaling and was having so much fun with that. And that's where I discovered YouTube videos. I would watch mixed media, try out the techniques, all of that sort of thing. And these junk journal videos just kept popping up all the time. Finally, I watched one, and the rest is history, as they say. I just love it because it does give me that, you can make a piece of ephemera in 10 or 15 minutes and you've got something that didn't exist before. So I think I've found my thing. The other thing I love about the junk journaling is you can incorporate all those other hobbies or crafts, the sewing, the mixed media. I've not put any paper on fire recently, but who knows? You never say never. So that's sort of my journey to this point. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, I love how we can just take everything and put it into a junk journal. As long as it's flat, it goes into a junk journal. I love it.
Yes.
Okay, Joey, I believe you have a question for us.
I have a great question here. There's a few parts to it, but I'll read the whole lot out. Maybe Barbara, if you want to kick off first with the answers. Okay. So what piece of ephemera is your favorite to make or create, and why? What's your favorite embellishment item to use and why? And what's something new you learned about yourself and your creativity in the last or the past year? So quite a lot of angles on that question there. So Gayle, you get to sit and listen and think. Barbara, you're up first.
It's quite a loaded question. Okay, so the first part was what favorite type of ephemera and why, right? Yeah, I'd have to go with coin envelope, and specifically coin envelopes made out of children's book pages. Because I think those are super quick and easy to do, super effective, and they just always look adorable. So that's my go-to thing to do if I have like a full page of a beautiful illustration. I just fold it up and make it into a long coin envelope. Perfect. Favorite embellishment might be buttons, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you use them a lot. I see you use them.
Yeah, I use them a lot. They're a bit tricky sometimes because they do add so much bulk, but I just love buttons. I don't really know why. And then what's something new you learned about yourself and your creativity in the past year? I guess I shouldn't be astonished about this, but it still baffles me that, I'm a perfectionist, and like in my life in general. And then I see how that transfers to my collaging. Like there's certain things I need in my collages for them to feel right, or for me to feel comfortable with. And that's basically two main things. One is I will pretty much only work with rectangular pieces. And like, I don't use any weird shapes. That's like a total no-go for me. And the second thing is I like my threes. So odd numbers in general, but three in particular just always work. They always look like they create some dynamic, whatever I'm collaging on in the collage. So, and that is part of my perfectionism. Like if I don't have those, the collage doesn't seem complete. And so it baffles me that this perfectionism translates into every last bit of creativity that I have. I don't know if it's a good or bad thing. Sometimes I'm not happy about it, but it just works for me. I don't think I can change who I am in that way. So I just have to accept that that's what it is, and that's me.
I think that's a very interesting and honest answer. So Gayle, tell me about you.
Well, let's see. I have to look at my little sheet because it's been 5 minutes since we talked about the questions and I don't remember. Oh, favorite piece of ephemera. I think kind of anything out of a book page, but book page pockets. I love making a whole bunch of different book page pockets and having them in a little basket, and you can just grab them and add some sort of little embellishment, a little snippet or something else that goes with what you're doing, and boom, you've got a wonderful pocket. So I think that's that one. Favorite embellishment item to use. I think for me, it's probably a doily, a paper doily. I just feel like it gives a good background to just about anything. So I think I probably use that more than anything else other than book page in the background. Yeah.
And something you learned about yourself.
That's such a great question. I love that. And I think this past year for me, one thing I've learned about myself, and I have actually known it, but I decided to work on it this year, is I think I'm sensitive. I'm overly sensitive, probably. And so I'm working on a thicker skin, and I get lots of practice on YouTube with that. Yeah. And as far as how creativity kind of melds into that, is I think this year more than ever, I have sort of owned my art. Like it's my creativity. And, someone else might think it should be green or purple, but I chose pink, right. And since I'm the one making the whatever it is, in order for it to be fun for me, I have to, as Barbara said, it doesn't look right to her if there's not three in the collage. I also have that too, Barbara.
No, I've noticed.
Yeah. So I guess the thing is, when it comes to art, there's no wrongs. It's just what you see in your mind and put on the paper, or, in the art journal or on the canvas. And to really own that and say, this is what the things I make look like.
I think that's absolutely fantastic, because on YouTube, I do think, and I'll just say it, I think there is influence to be doing something that's the trendy thing and in the trendy way. And I think it's so important for you to enable and allow yourself to be your authentic self, regardless of the fact that you've got this camera on you and there's a whole load of people going to be watching. So
Yeah.
I think it's important for you, but it's just my personal opinion. And I think it's important to be able to sustain your creativity. Because if you're just trying to do what you've seen elsewhere and it's not you, I find I lose, where's the energy? It's about doing it your way. We can take inspiration, but it genuinely is about you sitting at your desk and just having fun yourself. And there's just you at your desk.
And I think that the things that, if you're in that space when you're creating, the things you create turn out wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we all take the ideas that we all share, but we make them our own.
Yeah.
And with that authentic self that you're talking about, Joey, and I think that's part of the fun of it all.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Awesome. When I first looked at this question, it is a fabulous one. So I think your viewers have done an awesome job there, Gayle. I think my answer to the question was pocket, pocket, and pocket. if I sort of spend a bit more time, the piece of ephemera, I'm still going to say a pocket. And I like things that are tactile, and I like that there might be a pocket hidden and a thing behind and a something here and a something there. So I like interesting sort of interactive ephemera. If I can design something in that way, I quite like it. I think my favourite embellishment has now become a butterfly, because you can have the wings upright, so they're a bit 3D. It's very visual, and they kind of work for about 11 months of the year. I'm not going to say a butterfly is particularly Christmassy, but for most of the year, I think they really work. And the thing I've learned most about maybe the last 3 years is, and I would say this for everybody, the more you try to do, the more you can do. And the more you do, the more you believe you can do. So if you can get yourself into that free feeling like it's okay to have a go, and it's almost the right thing to do to get things wrong, because if you're not getting some things wrong, you're probably not feeling free to do it. It's that getting on that positive cycle of having a go, feeling like you can, realizing you can, having a go at something else. So I feel like I've just got into that zone in the last 3 months, if I'm honest.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, Joey, Tsunami Rose has Christmas butterflies.
Really?
I just cut them out.
Really?
So I know she's got Christmas butterflies. So you could move it to 12 months a year.
I will go check it out. Cool. So Barbara, I think your question number 3.
Yes, I have a very loaded questions, which has a lot of parts to it as well. So I'll read the whole thing and then I'll try to chop it down into smaller bits. How do you feel about where you are now with your YouTube channel? You have accomplished your goal of spreading kindness and helping so many people, but has the cost of time and energy been worth it? What would you like people to do to give back? And lastly, when will it feel like enough? Wow, what a loaded question. Maybe I'm going to start off with this one. So how do I feel about where I'm now with my YouTube channel? I feel awesome. I think considering that this is like a niche within a niche, we're doing so well. And I can't believe how many viewers are finding us on YouTube and how many viewers can have as much enthusiasm for playing with paper as we do. So it is so amazing for me still every day to think that I am not alone, even though I know nobody in like my real life who has the same passion. But you guys are here. You're all here. And I love that so much. And being able to share that in this community and being able to be on YouTube, what more can I ask for? I mean, I'm thrilled. So next part, you have accomplished your goal of spreading kindness and helping so many people, but has the cost of the time and energy been worth it? 1,000% worth it, of course, because of course we cannot always be motivated. We are not we don't always probably, or maybe I'll just talk about myself. I'm not always in the right frame of mind to film a video, even though I know I should be filming today because I have committed to doing 3 videos a week. But then to think about messages and comments that I get from you viewers sometimes, like messages saying that the videos have inspired you to try something new, or that you've been going through a rough time in your life and the videos have cheered you up in some way or have given you motivation to keep going. Oh my goodness, like that is my goal in life. If I can just motivate one viewer to have that kind of reaction, my job is done. I mean, really, this is the most I could ever ask for. So yes, 1,000% worth it. What would you like people to do to give back? If you just watch my videos, all of our videos, it's awesome for us. If you top it off with a thumbs up and a comment, even better. That's all I would ever ask from you. And when will it feel like enough? Never. It will never feel like enough, because as long as there's one more person out there, we can inspire. So Joey, what about you? Would you like to try to answer some of these?
Try and follow that one. I won't repeat the same. I think I feel the same way. Many of your points there, Barbara, really do resonate. I think the different angle I have is I've always wanted to master, coming from a base of knowing nothing, this is getting across through video the passion and the complete obsession I have for paper, but also the how to do it. I've come from not even being able to turn a camera on. I knew nothing. I did not know where the button was. Absolutely, honestly. I've just recently got to the stage where I feel comfortable and slightly confident with my ability to use the technology I have around me. So I use 3 cameras when I film now, and I edit afterwards. And I've just got to the point where I feel comfortable about what it is that I am producing. And for me, part of the artwork, the creativity, is the film production. And that's just a thing for me because that's what I wanted to do. And I really, really enjoy that. In answer to the question, how do I feel where I'm at? I guess I'm answering partly about how I produce a video, not just the YouTube element of it. I'm excited now because I'm tackling different questions and different topics. So I had to go at something called What is a Junk Journal? And I couldn't have done that if I hadn't taught myself how to do some other things. So my journey is a bit different, but the passion and the comments that we get are the payback on it, are the connection that we make, and the feeling that you can almost go, someone's just literally through the screen. If you could, you feel like you can touch, don't you? You feel someone sitting next to you at your desk. Yeah. And we hear how happy people are to then have a go at something. And when you hear what somebody's done and how they've had a go at a project and how much enjoyment they get, that is what I get my enjoyment from. So I never really think how long will I do it, because I'm just kind of in the moment and doing it at the moment. But I don't know whether I've answered every element of the question, but I hope that's conveyed some of the answer to it, if that makes sense.
Maybe one part I would still like to hear is it all worth it?
I think I wouldn't be doing it if I didn't think it was worth it. Mm-hmm. Will I be doing it in 15 years' time? I don't know. We evolve, and the community of YouTube evolves, the subject matter evolves, we learn. So I've dabbled with a bit of sewing. Who knows what goes where and where I'm open to this journey just carrying on. I think there'll always be paper at the heart of it, but it's worth it. It's worth it now. I have those days when I think I need to film and I don't feel like it. I have those days too. But overall, I'm still completely addicted, obsessed, and I love it. So if that's enough of an answer, I think.
Yeah. Thank you.
Gayle,
would you like to try these?
I would. Really thoughtful question. Where I am with my YouTube now, and how do I feel about that? Amazed and grateful. I started YouTube just a few months before I retired from my job. And YouTube and all, all that goes with it has been such a gift in my retirement. It's like I still have purpose,
Yeah.
Yeah, I am amazed and I am so grateful. I loved your answer, Joey, in that, the filming part is part of the creativity process for you. I love that because I'm the exact opposite. I just turn on the camera and then I turn it off. I don't even know how to put two videos together.
Good for you.
So, but I'm not a person that likes the computer much. So I do as little of that as possible. And I have been amazed that just on my part, I feel like I'm crafting with my crafting buddies. And, the conversation's a little one-sided, but that's, we're sitting across the table and crafting. And I'm so grateful to know they're out there, especially during 2020. People had said that they wouldn't have made it through the year without the YouTube videos. And I feel that way. I don't know if I'd have made it if I didn't have them to talk to, every day. So I feel like it's just a blessing in my life. The cost of time and energy. I think that's an interesting question because sometimes it is a lot, to be completely honest, because my viewers have, in some of their comments, let me know that the hour that they watch my video is their hour of interaction because they're homebound or whatever. I do feel a responsibility to do a video every day, as probably, Barbara, you do the 3 times a week. Whatever schedule you've kind of set for yourself, you feel responsible to. And I probably have an overblown sense of responsibility, but I really don't want to let them down. I love them. So sometimes that's a lot in order to fit in my real life. Sometimes I have to do 3 videos in a day. Luckily, I rarely run out of anything to talk about. I'm just a chatterer. That's all. Yes, it's been worth it and then some. And I agree with the giving back. Just if they like the video and comment, that helps us, and that makes us more available to other people who are looking for these videos, because YouTube will put us in the recommended more often if we have that sort of thing. When will I feel like it's enough? I think as long as I'm physically able, I will be doing art of some kind. As long as I can, I'll be doing YouTube. I mean, I had a section there several years ago where I did one-handed videos because I had shoulder surgery. And so I was doing everything with my left hand, which is not my smart hand. And so, I didn't even want that to stop me. So I think it'll be ongoing. I do.
Sounds like it. I'm sure it will.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So I have a question. Is it me next? Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yep.
So have you made a journal without using digitals? And if so, what did you use? And we felt that this was a good one for me to ask because I'm the one here who doesn't make digitals. So I think I would very much like to ask Barbara that. Have you made a journal without using digits? And if so, what did you use?
I have, and I will actually link that below in case anybody happens to be interested. It was a journal. Well, actually, I've made several, but the one that pops into my mind first is one that I have made using original European ephemera that I was sent by lovely Sharika, who's on Instagram, who I will maybe also just link for you below in case you want to check her out. She is in the Netherlands currently, and she has these subscription boxes. And so there you get really authentic vintage ephemera. And I made a journal just using her supplies, and I love it to bits. It is a whole different thing than using digitals. But having said that, I love working with digitals too. I love both. And I can't say one is better than the other. It's just 2 different things. It's also fun to mix them up.
Yeah. Gayle, of the many, many journals that you have made.
Yes. Well, I do get the question quite often about scrapbook paper versus digitals. I do love digitals for the pages because you can make them as thin as you want. Whatever paper you print on, they're going to be that weight. So I, as you know, love working with digitals, but also scrapbook paper is, I mean, Blue Fern Studios paper, as everybody knows, is my absolute favorite, and it's gorgeous. It's just gorgeous. So I would say the journals that I don't make with digitals are scrapbook paper, whether it's a ring journal. I love scrapbook paper for the cover of a traveler's notebook. And the other way that I like to use the scrapbook paper is with cinch journals. Do you know about the cinch machine that pokes the holes down the side and, have cardboard covers, but cover them in beautiful scrapbook paper? So, so there's a lot of ways to incorporate the heavier scrapbook paper into your journals.
I think my starting base was always just pulling pages out of books. And before I even watched that first video of Shannon Green sewing up the middle of various items of ephemera that she'd taken from hotels. I don't know if you know the video that I mean.
So, I do. She was one of the first ones I watched, and I love her, and I'm so sad she doesn't make videos anymore.
I know. I'm sure she'll come back. She'll come back. My starting base was probably the first 10 or 15 little, were they even journals? They were little notebooky things. They were all using book pages. And I've discovered the joy of integrating as decoration elements of digitals. I think that's probably the way I do it. I like folding the book pages so that they have a fold out here and a fold down there and a pocket here and there. So I've probably had a different starting point and have migrated a bit in, and I've gradually introduced selective elements, but I think they have their place. Mm-hmm. But it's whatever you feel like at the time, and there's always something different to do. So Barbara, are you up number 5?
Yeah, I get to have another loaded multi-part question. Yeah. All right, again, I will read the whole thing first. The journals you've made, is there a favorite theme or journal? Has there ever been a journal that you just did not want to finish once you got into it? One that you were disappointed in? Do you ever get tired of journaling, coming up with new ideas, or making videos? Okay. I'm going to try to give you brief answers. Otherwise, this is going to take forever. But I must say, this is a great question. The journals, the favorite theme, yes, I even took it out. So I think my favorite and most fun themes to work with are children's book pages. So this is the latest one I made. You maybe have seen that on my videos. So this has just a whole bunch of really fun children's book page elements in it. And this is by far my most favorite kind of journal to make, just because, I don't know, it's just so fun and playful. Has there ever been a journal that you just did not want to finish? I do have a few covers also here. I have 2 that have been on my shelf like forever, upside down. They're empty. I don't know. I made them and then I wasn't feeling it anymore. I mean, I still like them. I still think both are pretty, but I've kind of lost touch with them. And so I'm hoping
you've emotionally moved on. You're on the next one.
Even though it is totally still my style. I can't even say I've changed, but somehow I'm not feeling them anymore. I really hope that I will be able to finish them, because it would be such a shame. I've already put quite a bit into the covers. So hopefully I can still get back into them. So yeah, sure, that happens, of course. Do you ever get tired of journaling? No, it's more like I don't have enough time for journaling. Coming up with new ideas? No, that so far, knock on wood, has not been a problem. Hopefully it won't be. Or making videos. Yeah, as I mentioned before, sometimes you have to get into the rhythm of making a video. And I feel like every time right before the video, I do feel nervous. I know there's lots of people going to watch it, and it's kind of like going on stage, even though there's no audience there physically. It takes a lot of energy.
Yeah, it does.
And Yeah, I think you can hear it when I'm really, really excited about something. Think you can hear it in my voice that I like couldn't wait to turn on the camera. But there are those days where I really need to push myself and get into it. But once I'm in it, like 2 minutes, I'm totally in it and I'm loving it. But it's just that first initial getting into it sometimes is a bit hard. I have to admit that. Okay, Gayle, do you want to go next with this one?
Sure. Let's see. Favorite theme. I don't know that I guess it is a favorite theme because I've done many bee journals. So I don't know what it is, if it's the colors or just the theme of a happy little bee. I don't know. So that and Christmas is also one of my favorites. And I just can't stop making Christmas journals. I just keep making one after another. So, and type of journal, I really like to mix it up with the types of journals because once again, it keeps me from feeling like I'm just doing the same thing over and over again. So like right now I'm doing a 5-ring binder journal and that's been fun. I haven't done one of those in a while. So I don't really have a favorite. I just like to kind of mix it up a little bit. Didn't finish, I think that's kind of amazing because I have some covers, Barbara, too, but I would encourage you to keep those because something is going to inspire you, whether it's a paper or something, and you're going to go, oh my gosh, that is the perfect cover for this. Because I like to make covers, so I have quite a few made ahead, and I don't know what I'm going to do with them, but I know something will come up. And so if I find some papers that I love, I always go to my journal covers and see if there's something that works with it. But I haven't ever not finished a journal. I do have 3 or 4 projects that are still in the works, but they'll get finished, I think.
That's very impressive.
Yeah.
I don't know why that is. I wish I could give you some life secret there or something.
You're a completer finisher. Your
I think it just gets it off my mind then. If it's done, then I go on to the next thing and I have a clear mind to do that. Tired of journaling? No. And ideas, I just recently had somebody say, how do you come up with ideas for every day? I don't know. There's always more I want to do, and sometimes I can always tell, like I start to lose sleep when I have like too many ideas in the queue,
Yeah.
And so I do love doing my videos every day because then I can get on to the next and on to the next. Another little, I don't know, hint if people have their own YouTube channels, one of the things that's been really good for that is having sort of, I don't know if you call them theme days or whatever, but like I do Scrappy Saturdays. So every Saturday I work with scraps. And I usually have like 3 Saturdays ahead in my head of what I want to do with the scraps. But it helps to have that day when I know that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
And this past year, doing Marguerite Miller's collage challenge and Rachel at Roxy Creations, her challenge. So that's 3 days out of 7 that the theme has been decided already. Yeah.
Very helpful. Yeah.
It's to me already, isn't it?
No. Joey needs to answer this question first.
Oh, sorry.
That's
sorry,
all right.
Joey.
That's okay. The favorite theme, I probably would answer it slightly differently. And I think my favorite journals are the ones where I construct the cover, for example, out of book pages. So I think I'm just obsessed with making the thing itself from the book pages if I can. And I just really enjoy, if I'm honest, I like ripping them up and gluing them together. So it's just deeply satisfying. And then I can collage over it. So it might come out looking a bit vintagey because I've got a few digitals. I can put some bit of paint on. So the theme is a result of a process in a way, as opposed to I want a particular theme. I'm sure there've been journals I haven't finished because I guess sometimes I've learned and I've moved on emotionally to the next thing. So yes, what I do is I sort of cannibalize the items and use them in different things. So I have a bit of a challenge to myself of no waste. Everything is going to get used in my lifetime. My craft room might be very full, but everything is going to be used in some way. So it kind of sparks the creativity, because once you put something on your desk, if it's been something you thought, oh, I can't use that, put it on your desk and tear it a bit and stick it on something and you're off. And it's like, you just need to light the touch paper and then you're off, you're creating something. So it's not so much the theme, it's probably the materials and that sort of sense of, if I'm honest, there's a sense of frugality. I like using what I've got. I like reinventing things from what we already have. It's part of the fun and the challenge. So I don't really get tired, because I sit at my desk and the experimentation leads to something, which leads to something, which leads to something. So it's a game and it's fun, and that's all I'm trying to share, really. So I use Google Keep for logging my ideas, by the way, Gayle, because I also have that awake at night trying to remember. You've had 5 ideas and you don't want to forget them. So I put them in Google Keep and I go back to sleep.
I like it. I
put them in my phone as well, and like a note app. Definitely. Yeah. Otherwise you can't sleep because they keep going around in your head. Yeah,
exactly.
Now you're going to be surprised, but guess where I keep mine? in a journal.
Touche.
So you keep that by your bed then, Gayle?
I have another one by my bed. There's sort of like journals in every room.
You have more than one or
smart.
2 or 3. Cool. So Gayle gets to ask an awesome question. I think this is possibly the best of all.
This should be fun, shouldn't it? Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe Barbara, you can answer this, because there's been a little pause since you've answered one.
Oh.
So this is multi-part 2. What do your families think of your obsession? Are they supportive? Or do they think you're crazy? Help you out with tasks? And does your husband ever get frustrated with your collection of journal supplies?
I love that question. So, okay, what do your families think of your obsession? So I'm just going to relate to my hubby, because he's the one I live with when he's here. So I think at first he did think I was crazy for quite a while. I think by this time now he's gotten used to kind of what I do. I don't think he really understands what I do, but I think he gets that I'm kind of making weird books with weird things. And he is completely supportive. He's been really, really great, especially given that I don't have my own craft room. It might look like it from behind me, but this is part of my living room. I have a small living room. I'm in a small flat. So it takes really a lot of acceptance to have something like this in your living room. And also I'm working on my dining room table. That's my craft desk. So he's been super supportive. It's more that it bothers me. Like when I'm here alone, when he's not in the country, I'm fine living in my craft room. That is not an issue. But when he's here, it bothers me. I just want to have a separate living, dining space and a separate craft space. And I don't have that. So I'm super grateful that he's been so supportive of that. Does he help out with tasks? He has occasionally in the past, like cutting, gluing, things like that, but not a whole lot. It's okay. Yeah, and I think that's it. No, frustrated. Frustrated with your collection of journal supplies. I mean, I am more and more taking over the living room, but again, it's more that it bothers me, not him. He doesn't really care. I don't even know if he realizes what's happening. Yeah.
Oh, I love it. How about you, Joey?
So I'm very lucky in that I have a room, quite a large room for me to put all my stuff in and shut the door. The deal from a supportive husband, who, by the way, is the IT director for me. Basically, if it's technology, I don't know a lot. I consult, and he's very, very helpful in that department. Does anyone think we're crazy doing what we do? I think they look at 2 things with me. So I've always played with paper, and that bit is not new. The bit that there was a sort of a raised eyebrow or 2 was the YouTube element to it. So putting yourself out there and doing that is maybe not the most natural thing to do. And it isn't easy, and it's scary. And, we put ourselves in front of a camera every time we do a video. And occasionally I put my face in front, which is even more scary. So, we are a bit crazy. Maybe we are, but it's fun. And I think as they've got used to seeing us do what we do, we get more support because it's a bit more understood. So for me, I think there's more acceptance because I've been doing it for a little while now. So yeah, they think I'm crazy. I think my husband thinks I'm a bit mad, but as long as I'm enjoying it and it's not negative, I think the support is all there. And I think, I'm hearing similar things from what you say, Barbara. Does he get frustrated? The deal is I keep my mess in my room as much as I can. So I try not to spill over. Barbara, I don't know how you have such tidy shelves. I am in awe at your tidiness and organisation. I have to say, very recently, I think I've just filmed a video and I'm starting to try to be a bit more open. So on my videos, I suspect I'm more closed than both of you. I feel that way, but I'm trying to open up a bit. And I was just talking a little bit about having a bit of organisation and a system for paper, for example, has helped me immensely be more creative because I just feel free to find what I want when I want. It stays in the room. It's an ongoing challenge to be organised, but the deal with the husband is he helps me with the IT. I keep my stuff in my room. Everybody's happy. How about you, Gayle?
Oh, gosh. As far as supportive family, my family's amazing. My husband helps me a lot. He does all the financial end of things. I don't even look at my own checkbook anymore. He does all of that. He helps me with my Patreon. He keeps track of my members and who needs what as far as benefits and all that kind of stuff. He did try fussy cutting. Hard pass on the fussy cutting. So no, thank you to that. Okay. And then my son does all my tech stuff. So he manages my website. He's the one that really did everything for my merchandise line. And he's an amazing technical guy on the computer. And as I said, I'm not and don't have any interest to be. So it's really nice that they've helped me so much. And as far as the supplies go, well, I started out in a little nook off of our family room, and now I have the family room too. So basically, this is the basement of my house, and I have basically taken over the whole thing. But I keep everything here, except for if I'm upstairs watching something on TV and working on something. But I try and always bring it right back downstairs, and I so agree with you, Joey. Having things organized where you can find them is huge. There's nothing more frustrating than trying to make something and you want this certain thing and you can't find it in your space. So I do spend probably a little more time than most organizing and keeping things where I can find them, but they're all really good. And I have to say, I have some good street cred with my grandkids. They think it's pretty cool that Nana's on YouTube.
Well, I do too.
Yeah.
So
I think that's it for the questions.
Can I just say one thing as well?
Yes.
I think personally, it's such a journey of development for us as individuals too. So whether you're on YouTube or not, what we're doing allows you to find out what you like and what you enjoy and learn things, and it keeps us going up here a bit.
Yes.
So I just felt like, it's a personal thing, isn't it?
Yeah. And I always feel like, because I'm sure you both get these comments as well as like, we've kind of touched on this a little bit, like how do you stay creative? How do you get so many ideas and how do you make it look so easy? And on all of those, I feel like the answer is very simple, although maybe not easy, but simple. The more you do, the more you're into it and the more ideas come, right? It's like,
absolutely.
If you never do anything, you're not going to get ideas. You need to keep doing it to get more ideas, and then it just snowballs. Do you both agree?
Exactly.
I do agree, definitely. Yeah.
Great. Any other last thoughts you need to get out before we close this?
I feel like we need another of these. There's a lot to talk about.
There's definitely is.
Really?
There's so many great
fun.
Yeah, it was so fun having you both here. Thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you to all of our viewers for hanging out with us. It was our absolute pleasure. Please check out all 3 of our channels. They will be linked in the description box below. I think each of our channels has so much to offer and so many different things. So yeah, hope to see you in one of our other videos. Thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you, Barbara.
Bye.
Thank you, Joy.
Bye.